Good afternoon to all of you.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
In the last class, I think we were discussing this theorem, right?
Ma'am,
Yes, tell me.
ma'am, I had a doubt in how to do the assignment.
Yes,
Ma'am,
tell me.
we have to do it in A4 size paper or in a separate copy?
See, anywhere you do it, but you have to send in file, okay? Making
Okay, ma'am.
one file for chapter number one file for chapter number two, okay? And the earlier assignment, that the question part, we have given you one file containing 10 question, I think. That
No,
also
ma'am.
you need to send.
No,
No,
no, it was not sent.
only question numbers you got.
Ma'am, we had
Yes, ma'am.
got,
This time we got only question numbers.
Okay. Okay, just do that.
and ma'am, we have to write the questions also.
Question numbers you can write. No need to
Not,
write question.
okay, ma'am.
Ma'am,
And
what's
ma'am,
the
what
last
is the,
submission date?
yes, ma'am, that.
Yeah.
Ma'am, the
Last date of
submission date,
submission.
last submission.
18.
Okay.
Okay. And ma'am, there is
15
Okay,
any
to
ma'am.
form,
18.
like ma'am, in
Ma'am,
Yes.
no
other,
submission details have been provided.
There is no Google link also.
We don't have any link to. We don't have any link to
And
submit the assignment.
See, you need to send to your section mail, okay?
what is the section?
Section mail 2041009@soa.ac.in.
Ma'am, for different subject, they are providing different link, ma'am. Till now, we got two subject assignments, and the link was provided separately, ma'am, and it
Oh,
was
is it?
mentioned in the mail itself.
Yes, ma'am. It was on Google Form to sir
But
upload the
but for
files.
DM, we didn't receive any mail, and also don't know what to do about the assignment.
Okay, let me clarify this from my coordinator, then I'll
Yes, ma'am.
tell you. Okay.
Ma'am, once
yes,
also
ma'am.
you asked that where to do, ma'am, like in A4 size paper or a copy, because PME ma'am said that we have to do it in A4 size paper.
Hmm. Go ahead with A4 size paper only.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Now can we start?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so this was discussed, I think. We discussed what is prime and what is composite, right? And the fundamental theorem of the arithmetic, that is, every positive integer greater than 1 is either prime or can be written uniquely as the product of primes, two or more primes, okay? Next, we did this theorem. This theorem is if n is composite integer, then n has a prime divisor which is less than or equal to root n. Okay, this is if P then Q, right? P implies Q statement, right? Can you tell me its equivalent, that is the contraposition of the statement?
Negation Q implies negation.
Negation Q implies negation P, right? So what would be that statement according to this theorem 2? Means theorem 2 can also be written in this format, okay? That is, uh, if n has no prime divisor less than or equal to root n, then n is not composite, means n is prime. Got it? N has, in that sense, it will be n has no prime divisor less than or equal to root n, then n is not a composite. Not composite means prime. Clear? Yes? And that is equivalent to this one, as we have done in logic, because P minus, that is P implies Q, is equivalent to contraposition. Okay, every conditional statement is and its contrapositive statement are equivalent. Okay, is that clear? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Audible.
Okay. Now, if you want to show any given number as prime, what do you do? What you do once one way is to check whether it is divisible by some number which is between 1 and n, right? Another way is by just contraposition of this statement. What was that? If n has no prime divisor less than or equal to root n, that is, if you collect all the prime numbers which are less than equal to root n, okay? All the prime numbers which are less than equal to root n, such that with the and you find that E does not divide n. That means this one n has no prime divisor less than equal to root n. Then you can say, if you show this condition, then you can say n is prime. Okay. How to apply this one? We'll see in this example. Now we need to show 101 is prime. So n is our 101. Understood? Now collect all the prime numbers which are less than or equal to root 101. Tell me the prime numbers which are less than or equal to root 101. Yes?
2, 3, 5, and
2,
7.
3, 7.
2, 3, 5, 7, right? 2, 3, 5, and 7. Does any of these divide 101? These prime number p is equal to the possibility of p are 2, 3, 5, 7. Does any of these divides 101? Yes? 2 does not divide. Likewise, 3 does not divide. 5 does not divide. And also 7 doesn't divide. Okay? Got it? So we can say n is prime by this theorem directly. Got it? Means n has 101 has no prime divisor. These are not dividing, which are less than equal to root n. And if some n has, for example, 1, 2, 3. Tell me the prime numbers which are less than equal to 1, 2, 3.
2, 3, 5, 7, 11.
2, 3, 5,
2,
7.
3, 5, 7, 11. Any of them divide this? Yes, 3 divides, right? 3 divides
Yes.
this. That's why this is not a prime. Okay? But here we have all the prime numbers which are means no prime factorization which is less than or equal to root n. Okay? We can directly say by that theorem this follows that 101 is prime. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you check 53 by the same procedure? All the prime numbers which are less than equal to root n will be root 53, which are less than equal to root 53. 2, 3, 5, 7. This
Same,
will
ma'am.
work. And none of these divide this, right? So 53 is a prime number. Is that understood? Yes. Next is, do you know what GCD is? Greatest common divisor. That is also known as HCF, highest common factor. You might have heard about highest common factor, that is HCF, right? In your 7th class or so, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So how do you define this HCF?
Ma'am, HCF is the highest common factor which divides the given number.
Yes, highest common factor of A, B. This will be the you take all the common factor and you take highest of that. That will divide A and B, right? As its name suggests, highest common factor. You collect all the common factors of A and B. That means all the divisors, common divisors of A and B, and take the highest of them. Okay, that will be HCF. This here we are just saying GCD. Okay, or in small letters we will be writing this GCD of A and B. GCD means greatest common divisor, right? Now, can you tell me the HCF for GCD, whatever, of 0, 0? What is that? Yes? Can you tell me the GCD of this 0, 0?
All real numbers.
All real number. It is not defined. When both numbers A and B are 0, then it is not defined. Okay? Because GCD or HCF we define only when we have not both 0 at a time. Okay? A and B not both 0. One can be 0. For example, 0 and 4. What is the GCD of 0 and 4? Tell me.
4.
4. Right. See, any non-zero number, every non-zero number divides 0. Right. But 4, the common divisors are, for 4 and 0, the common divisor 1, 2, 4. And the highest is 4. Correct? So that's how you define GCD, and this is the definition. A and B not both 0, or the integer not both 0 at a time. The largest integer, that is the greatest integer from the GCD only, such that divides A and B. Okay, that divides A and B. That will be GCD of A and B, denoted by this one. Okay, so what is the GCD of 18 and 10? Tell me.
2.
So for 18 and 10, GCD will be 2. The common factors are 1 and 2. Right? Highest is 2. What about 24 and 30? Is it
6.
6? Right?
6.
Correct. What about 120 and 500? GCD of 120 and 500.
10.
100.
100.
10. 10.
No.
10.
No. $120 is divisible by 100? No, can't be. Right? That will be, I think, 20.
Yes, ma'am, 20.
One way is just take the common factor, and another way is write the prime factorization for A and B and take the common factors from that. Okay, for example, the prime factorization for 24 will be, tell me, prime factorization for 24, it will be 2 raised to
2
power
into 3 into 3.
3,
3 into
3, right? 3 raised to power 1. We got this one. And out of this 30, for 30 we have 2 into
2 into 3 into 3 into 5.
3 into 5, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So out
Yes,
of
ma'am.
these one, which is common part? See, 2 is common here and here, right? So common is what? Minimum thing, minimum of, in this one, that is, here we have 2, 3 and 5. You just write all the prime number included in this one and this one. Here 5 raised to power 0 is there, right? Now 2 raised to power 3 or 1, which is common in both.
2 raised to power 1.
1. 3 raised to power 1, 1 here. So 1
1.
common. 5 raised to power
0.
0 common. So take the minimum powers out of those. Okay. So that is giving you 2 raised to power 1, 3 raised to power 1, that is 6. Then likewise, what is the prime factorization of 120? Two cube into 3 into 5. Okay. And 500. Two raised to power 4 or 2.
2.
2, 5 raised to power 3.
3.
Right? And 3 raised to power 0. So we have 2 raised to power 2 common, right? And here 3, no powers of 3. So 3 raised to power 0 will be there. That will be 1. And 5 raised to power 1. That will be the GCD. So 20 is coming. Okay. So like this, you can also factorize 18 and 10. So 18 will be 2 raised to power 1, 3 raised to power 2. And 10 will be 2 into 5. So 2 is common. Okay. Alright. So by prime factorization also, you can easily find the GCD. That is, whenever, in general, I'm just telling you now, when A is written as, by using the fundamental theorem of arithmetic, every n greater than 1, every number greater than 1, every integer greater than 1, you can write as the product of primes, right? So you can also write A as product of prime, B as product of prime, right? So if A you are writing as P1 raised to power alpha 1 can be 1, 2, 3 and also 0, right? P2, Pi's are different primes. So all, for example, P1 is 2, so all the 2 powers are included in this one, alpha 1, okay? Then P2, for example, this is 3 included. So in alpha 2, all the powers of 3 will be included. P3, it will be alpha 3. And so on. Pk, alpha k. Understood? This is the prime factorization of A. For B, I am also writing P1, P2, P3, all the primes which are included are here. Okay. And whenever some prime is not present, you can write the pk raised to power 0. For example, pk is not there. So you can just write beta 1 raised to power p2 raised to power beta 2, p3 raised to power beta 3, and so on, pk raised to power beta k. Understood? GCD will be the common part, and common part is minimum powers, right? Power will be minimum of alpha I beta I. Okay. So in general, this one is product of pi raised to power alpha I is running from 1 to k, and this one will be product I is running from 1 to k, pi raised to power beta I. Understood? What is this pi represent? Product. If you open it, P1 raised to power alpha 1, P2 raised to power alpha 2, and so on. Is that understood to everyone?
Yes.
Clear? Okay. So GCD will be P1, GCD of A and B will be P1 raised to power whatever the minimum is, right? That will be the common. P1 raised to power minimum of alpha 1 beta 1, right, into p2 raised to power minimum of alpha 2 beta 2, right? So let me more clearly write this one. So in general it will be up to pk, right? Product. So product of pi raised to power minimum of alpha I comma beta I. Is that understood? I is running from 1 to k. GCD understood or not? Because this minimum
Yes.
power will be common, right? So this is the general formula. Likewise, while defining the LCM part, we will be having the common multiple, least common multiple. In that, this power raised to power maximum will be there. Okay, pi raised to power maximum of alpha I beta I. I'll discuss later. So GCD is done. If the GCD of two numbers is 1, what do you say? Those numbers? Tell me. GCD of A and B is equal to 1. What do you
Prime
say A
number.
and B? These are co-prime or relatively prime, right? Either you can write co-prime or relatively prime. If you have two numbers, if you have 3 number, 4 number, or so on, and every two pairs have GCD 1, then we say pairwise that list, we have a list of n number and every pair is having GCD 1, then we say pairwise relatively prime. Okay? If this list will be pairwise relatively prime. If every two pair you can just say having GCD 1. Okay? Is that understood? Yes? So tell me 17, 21, and 10. These are determine whether these integers are pairwise relatively prime, or you can say pairwise coprime or not. So check whether the each pair 10, 17, 10, 21 and 17, 21 have the GCD 1 or not. Tell me. Yes, anyone? Are these pairwise relatively prime? See, try to participate in the class. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
10,
ma'am.
17 GCD 1. 10, 21 GCD 1. 17, 21 GCD 1. So these are pairwise relatively prime. What about 10, 19 and 24? This list. So
Yes, ma'am.
10 and 24 are not pairwise relatively prime. These are not co-prime, that's why. That is, every two numbers should be co-prime, having GCD 1. And here we have 10 and 24 have GCD 2, not 1. That's why this list is, these integers are not pairwise relatively prime. Understood? Now you can, we have done this prime factorization of 120 and 500 is given by this one, and GCD is, you take every prime, okay, 2, 3, 5, 2 raised to power minimum of, from this one and this one, 3 and 2, right? 3 raised to power minimum of 1 and 0, 5 raised to power minimum of 1 and 3. So it will be 2 raised to power 2, 5 raised to power 1. That is 20. Now come to LCM part. Before going to that, can you tell me integers, positive integers, which are less than 12 and relatively prime to 12? Those integer, list all those positive integer which are less than 12 and relatively prime to 12, and are, you can just say, are co-prime with 12. Co-prime or relatively prime means GCD with 12 is 1. So those number, can you list
7.
Okay, 7,
Ma'am, 5, 7, and 11.
5.
5, 7, and 11. Anything else? 1.
Yes, ma'am.
Anything else? No, right? We have only 4 numbers. So this was exercise question, and we will encounter this in further within 5 minutes. So yeah, now come to LCM. LCM means least common multiple. Okay. So if A and B are
Ma'am,
positive integers,
don't get it. A equal to 1571.
you don't get it. See, we need to find the number, all those positive number or positive integer which are less than 12 and are co-prime with 12. Co-prime with 12 means GCD with 12 having 1. So list all the numbers 1 to 11 we have. A is satisfying 1 to 11 according to this condition. But what about this condition? 1 is satisfying, GCD of 1 with 12 is
Yes,
1.
ma'am, got
What
it.
about 2? 2 does not have. 3
No.
does not have 1. 4 not satisfying. 5 satisfying. 7 satisfying. 11 satisfying. I hope you got it. Now come to LCM, least common multiple of two positive integers A and B. Okay. Is this whatever least or smallest, you can say, smallest integer which is such that A divides that number and B divides that number. That is, both numbers are dividing that number. Okay. Or this is that number which is common multiple of A and B, and that is the least common multiple, right? So that is the smallest positive integer that is divisible by both A and B. That means that is the multiple of both A and B. That's the LCM. But in case of GCD, if D is the GCD of A and B, then D divides A and D divides B. But in this case, L is the LCM, then A divides L and B divides L. Okay. Got it? Now, while computing the LCM, you can list all the multiples of A and B and take the first common multiple. Okay. The least common multiple. For example, in case of 24 and 30, what it will be?
2.
Yes. 120 is divisible by both. Is it 120? What was the GCD? 6, no? So it will be 120. It will be 120. LCM of 18 and 10. How I got 120? You take all the multiples of this one, 24, 48, and so on. All the multiples of this one. Whatever the first multiple which is same, that will be the least common multiple, right? And that is coming as 120. In this one,
90.
90, right? 90 is the least common multiple of this one. What about 500, 120? LCM for 500 and 120. LCM. Yes. Tell me. GCD was 20. LCM will be is it? Can you calculate it?
Ma'am,
Tell me the
3000.
LCM of 12 and 50. LCM of 12 and 50 is 300 and 10. Right? Anyways, you can factorize it. First, write the prime factorization of A and B and take the maximum power. Because A and B divides, both are dividing the LCM if LCM is having maximum power, right? Only then the powers of A from A and B will divide that LCM, right? So, for example, A is having in this one 120 and 500. What was the prime factorization? This one. Here we have 2 raised to power 3, 3 raised to power 1, and 5 raised to power 1. And 500 is 2 raised to power 2, 5 raised to power 3. 3 raised to power here we have 0. So take all the primes and take the maximum power. Maximum of 3 and 2 will be 3 because we want this to be divisible by both. So if we take maximum only, then it will be divisible by both, right? Here we have 3 raised to power 1, here we have 0. So maximum is 1. And here we have maximum is 3. Is that understood? What is that? This is 1000, 3000. 3000. Okay. So according to that formula, this formula, if A is this one and B is this one, so LCM will be, you write LCM for A and B, it will be product of I is running from 1 to K, EI raised to power, tell me what should I write? Yes?
Max of max
Max of
of
alpha I, comma, beta I,
beta.
right? Now, if you multiply this A and B, okay, the product of AB will be same as product of LCM and GCD that you can verify. Because minimum power here, maximum power here, and here both power. And if you multiply it, it will be added. And here also added. Right? For example, in that sense, or in that case, 18 and 19. What was GCD? GCD was 2, right?
2.
So if you multiply 2 into LCM 90, are you getting the same as 1 8 into 10? That is A into B. AB is if D is the GCD and L is the LCM, then you have this one. Right? So in general, this is the formula that GCD of A comma B into LCM of A comma B is equal to the product of AB. So if product is given and some either of this one, either LCM or GCD is known, then you can find the other one. Right? Even if A and B are not known, if product is given, then you can use this formula to calculate the other parts. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Before going to the example for this one, just come to LCM. LCM of here, it is very easy, right? Already prime factorization is given. What will be the LCM? 2 raised to power maximum 4, 3 raised to power maximum 5, 7 raised to power maximum 2. Clear? and this is done. Positive integer less than 12 are relatively prime to 12. You need to find all those which are 1, 5, 7, 11. This was done, right? Yes. Now it's you need to determine whether the integers in each of these sets given are pairwise relatively prime or not. So can you do this one? 21 and with 34. What is GCD? Relatively prime means GCD should be 1 for every pair. So for 21, 34, GCD is 1. 21, 55, GCD is 1. 34, 55, GCD is 1. Right? So these are pairwise relatively prime. What about this one? 14, 17, 85. So these are having 17. Yeah. So these are not pairwise relatively prime. What about this one? Now when you have 4 lists, so start with first one. Okay, first with second, first with third, first with fourth. Now for second done, start with second, second with third, second with fourth, and then third and fourth. Okay, you can calculate the GCD of these pairs. Okay, so these are relatively prime. These are also relatively prime. 17, 18. Obviously, every two consecutive number are co-prime, right? So 17, 18, 17, 19, two primes are co-prime. And 17, 23, again same. 18, 19, GCD 1. 18, 23, GCD 1. With prime numbers, any number which is not divisible by prime having GCD 1. Then 19, 23, 2 prime. So GCD 1. These are pairwise relatively prime. Yes. Try to solve this one. Find the GCD of 100625 and LCM of 100625. Verify that the GCD of 100625 into, that is product of LCM and GCD is equal to the product of A and B. This we know generally it holds, right? So it will hold for this as well. Anyways, find GCD and LCM. What is the prime factorization for 1000?
2 cube into
2 cube
3 cube.
into 5 cube. 6 to 5, 5
5
raised to
power
power 4. 5 raised to power 4. Right? So, GCD is 5 raised to power 3. 125. And what about LCM? LCM is 2 raised to power 3, 5 raised to power 4. Right? And if you multiply these two and multiply these two, are you getting the same thing? Correct, right? This one is 5000 and this one is 125. If you multiply it, obviously you are getting A into B. In prime factorization only you can see it. It's clearly visible. Okay? Yeah. Now try to solve this one. Now it is given as product. Product of two integer is given on the greatest common divisor is given. What is LCM? You will divide product by GCD to get the LCM, right? So this is AB into GCD into LCM. We need this one, so just divide by this. So AB by GCD. So if you divide this by this
2 to
one,
the
you are
power
getting
4,
2 raised to
3 to
power
4, 3 to the power 4 into 5 into 7.
into 5 into 7. Actually, it is 7 raised to power 11. So this is not 1. 7 raised to power 11. Okay. Any doubt regarding prime number and composite GCD LCM and prime factorization? No? Okay. Now come to integers and algorithms. Here we will be discussing about some base change algorithms, and obviously from one integer base to another integer base. For example, in decimal system, decimal base, we have this one, right? This number is in decimal. You want to convert into other base. For example, b greater than 1, you can just say. You can choose any base and you can convert it. How you will convert? The decimal into base b, you will keep dividing by b and taking the remainders, right? And then collect the remainder from bottom to top. It will give you the base change notation. Okay? Is that clear? In particular, we will be discussing about binary notation with base b, octal, octal notation, octal expansion, that is base 8, and hexadecimal, that is base 16. Okay? So in binary, what are the digits? 0 and 1. In octal, we have 0, 1, 2, 3 and up to 7. Okay, in base 8. In base 2, 0, 1. What about 16? In 16, the remainders are up to 15. So up to 9, it will be the digit. But after 9, 10 is the character A. 10 is represented by character A. 11 is B. 12 is C. 13 D. 14 E. 15 F. Understood? So from 10 to 15, these are, and up to 15 only we will be having the that is remainders. Okay? So from decimal to binary, or from decimal to any base, you keep dividing by b and in the remainder. For example, the number is n. You are dividing by b, so it is b into some q naught plus a naught. Okay? This is, or you can just say r naught remainder, first remainder, or 0th starting remainder. Okay? Then again you divide by b, right? This q naught. Take the q naught and divide by b. There will exist some quotient and some remainder, and so on. Then it will be q1 is divided by b into q2 plus a2, and so on. It will be up to ak. AK will be b into qk plus 1 plus, or you can just say not ak, this is qk minus 1. This you can just say qk plus ak, and you will stop this process when you are getting this quotient as 0. Okay, this quotient at 0, you'll stop there. Okay, and write from bottom to top. So that is AK, AK minus 1, AK minus 2, and so on. This is with base B. If it is 2, it is known as binary expansion. If base is 8, it is known as octal expansion. If it is 16, it is known as hexadecimal expansion. Okay. Now, from this one, from base notation to decimal, how to convert it? From this to n. How to convert? Then n will be AK b raised to power p. Okay, or you can just start with a naught plus a1 b raised to power 1 plus a2 b raised to power 2 and so on, right? Understood? Or you can start with this one also. A naught, take this number, plus a1 b plus a2 b square plus a3 b cube and so on. Understood? How b raised to power k? You will start here b raised to power 0, b raised to power 1. Then it will be up to when we have k plus 1 remainder, it will be power if you will get from here. That is if you are dividing k times, right? Then you are getting this remainder. That's why powers. Okay? If you are done with generality, general expression on, if you apply these two, then it will be a naught plus a1 2 raised to power 1, a2 2 raised to power 2 and so on, ak 2 raised to power k. And then you get the decimal part. Okay? Is that understood? Yeah. What is the decimal expansion of the integer that has this one as binary expansion? Tell me. Where you start? You will start with this R naught or A naught. Base is 2. So 1 into 2 raised to power 0, that is 1. Then 1 into 2. Then this 1 into 2 raised to power 2. Then you have 1 into 2 raised to power 3. Then 1 into 2 raised to power 4. Then it is 0 into 2 raised to power 5. Then 1 into 2 raised to power 6. And 1 in that is 0 into 2 raised to power 7 and plus 1 into 2 raised to power 8. So what you got?
351.
391 or something. 351. So it will be 351. Everybody got it? Start with this one and whatever the position of this one, starting with 0. Okay, just multiply that power of base. Add it. We'll be getting the decimal expansion. Now come to hexadecimal. Now from this decimal to binary, you keep dividing and collect the remainders and write the remainders. Stop the process where you are getting quotient as 0. Okay, and collect the remainders as from bottom to top. Write it. That will be binary expansion or base B expansion. So here we are having integer that is remainder up to 15, and it is represented by 0 to 9 and A, B, C, D, E, F. Okay. What is the decimal expansion of this one? Tell me. I will write the decimal expansion of 2AE0B. First is 16 raised to power 0 into B is 11. Okay, so 11 into that is 1. Next is 0 into 16 raised to power 1. Next is E 14 into 16 raised to power 2 plus next is 10 into 16 raised to power 3 plus 2 into 16 raised to power
4.
4. What is this number? Tell me. That will be the decimal expansion. Okay. This will be 175627. And from this number to base 16, it will be, that is from decimal to hexadecimal. You just keep dividing by 16 and collect the remainders in process. Here, find the base 8 of octal expansion of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is decimal. So convert decimal into octal. What you will do?
Divide by 8.
Divide by 8 and collect the quotient and remainder. So this is quotient and this is remainder. So this one will be the rightmost digit. Okay, 1. Next will be, take this quotient 1543, divide by 8, you are getting remainder as 7. And 192 is quotient. Then 192 is equal to 8 into 24 plus 0 is remainder. Then 0 is remainder. And stop this process when you are getting this at 0, 8 into 0. Okay, so you will write 3007 and 1. Okay, that is the octal expansion. And if you want to reconvert into decimal, what you will do? 1 into 8 raised to power 0, right? Plus 7 into 8 raised to power 1 plus 0 into 8 raised to power 2 plus 0 into 8 raised to power 3 plus 0 into that is 3 into 8 raised to power 4, I think, right? So this will be the this number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this process, you terminate this process as I already told you when you are getting the quotient at 0. So I hope base change is clear. So find the hexadecimal, that is decimal to hexadecimal. Convert it and tell me. First you divide by 16. What is remainder? 10. What you will write in place of 10? The rightmost digit is A. Next we are getting as remainder as 14. While we divide this quotient by 16. So it will be E. Then it is 3. Then it is, at 11 we have B. Right? So 2BE, 3A. Is that clear? Now find the hexadecimal. This I'll come to you. This one. Before going to that example, come to some exercise part. Yeah. Convert the following integers from decimal to binary. 231. Is it easy? Just keep dividing by 2, right?
2.
And write the quotient and remainder. Okay. So let me give you the complete this exercise. First is 231. Another they have not given B, C, and D. D is not there. Part D is 4532. Just note it. Part B for this one, from decimal to binary, 4532. Part C is given as 97644. Okay? And first one is 231. That is already given. So you need to convert from decimal to binary. So binary, first you got 1 remainder and quotient is 115. Then divide this quotient by again 2. The base, you are getting remainder 1. Then 1, 0, 0, 1, 1, 1. So you will write from bottom to top. So it is triple time 1, triple 1, 0, 0, triple 1. Okay. Similarly, you can find for these two. Is that understood? And other two are assignment I already given you. So this, I think this will be easy. So take it as exercise or homework. Okay. Now convert these integer from binary to decimal. From binary to decimal, what you do? This rightmost is multiplied with 2 raised to power 0, then 2 raised to power 1, 2 raised to power 2, 3, 4. So finally you are getting as this one. Here also BCD part are not given. So let me give you. It is 1010, part B, 1010, 110101. Okay, this is part B of that question. Part C, 1110, 5 times 1, 0. Okay. Then we have 5 times 1, 5 times 0, 5 times 1. Okay. Okay, just do this exercise as well as this one. Here from binary decimal to binary. Here from binary to decimal. Clear? Now convert these integer from hexadecimal to binary. This I should explain now, or you have some class right now?
Ma'am, eco class.
Eco class. Ma'am is not here now. Ma'am has not joined yet, right? So I can explain to you. From hexadecimal to binary and binary to hexadecimal, and also we will be discussing about octal to binary and binary to octal. Every hexadecimal integer number, that is the remainder, 0 to 0, 1, 2, 3 up to 9, then we have A, B, C, D, E, F, right? This correspond to this hexadecimal number correspond to 4 binary notation. Okay, for example, this is F is corresponding to 1, 1, 1. You can just calculate the binary notation for 14. Okay, 15. For 14, it will be E. For E, it will be 1, 1, 1, 0. So every number, see here it is 0. Whenever we are starting with 0, it is 0. Right? So you will just write 4 digits of, that is 4 digit 0. Then 1 we have. So it will be 0, 0, 0, 1. Then 2 we have. For 2 we have corresponding to binary 0, 0, 1, 0. For 3 we have 0, 0, 1, 1. Yes. Anyway, we'll discuss in next class from this one, conversion from hexadecimal to binary and reconversion. Okay. So I stop here. If you have any doubt, you can tell me. 4 digit. See, in hexadecimal, we divide by 16, na? Right? 2 raised to power 3. And in binary, we divide only, sorry, this is 2 raised to power 4. Okay, we divide only by 2. Okay, that's why 4 digit of binary are corresponding to 1, this is 1 for hexadecimal. Okay, this is 2 into 2 into 2 into 2. Okay. So I stop. Thanks all.